Yeah, so hello?
Hi.
Oh, okay. So, do you believe that we gotta keep the Ten
That
Commandments?
man, hi.
Oh, okay.
Have I loaded in yet?
Okay. So, do you believe that we gotta keep the
Yeah,
Ten like an echo?
have I loaded in yet?
Hey, sorry, there was kind of like a weird double thing happening.
Yeah, there's like an echo. But, like, do you believe that we have to keep the Ten Commandments? Because in First Peter 2, First Peter 25, when it says that the word of the Lord endures forever, and this is which the gospel is preached. And after you see what that quotes, and it's quoting Psalms 136, and it's talking about like his word endures forever, his mercy endures forever, his love endures forever, and it's talking about like the royal law, which is loving thy neighbors thyself, and then it's talking about the Ten Commandments because the love of God is the Ten Commandments because that's um, said in 1 John 5:2-3. For this
Why
one,
was why was Jesus sent?
what do you say?
Why did Jesus come?
Yeah, he was sent to die to be unalive for the sins of the whole world, and to take away the sacrificial law, that the law of sin and death, and nailing it to the cross and paving way for the Gentiles to even be grafted into the Commonwealth of Israel.
You said the word sacrificial. Where did you get that from?
Yeah, like in okay, in Colossians 2:14, right? Let me go there real quick. It says right, blotting blotting out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us, which was contrary to us, and took it out of the way, nailing it to the cross. Right, it's talking about the Messiah because he was nailed to the cross, and it's talking about the handwriting of ordinances went with him. The handwriting of ordinances is the sacrificial law, the 613 laws. And if you go to like
Whoa! 613 laws. The first 10 are what we call the Ten Commandments.
yeah, the Ten Commandments was given at Mount Horeb, right? Because when God take his people out of slavery and out of bondage into
Real quick,
Egypt,
what's your first name?
Tavarian,
I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
Tavarian,
Tavarin. How long have you been with Jesus?
um, like almost 3 years now. I've been like I say Yeshua.
Okay, so I know where you're coming from, right? The narrow is the gate people. And I've offered to publicly discuss with your leaders. I'd be happy to publicly discuss. You can let them know.
Are you talking
I
about
would,
strangersthegate.net?
yeah, I would encourage you with all my heart to run from that. They live in open sin. They're not even ashamed of it. They promote God's law. They're self-righteous. There's no beauty in their heart. There's no love for the brethren. They don't understand the gospel of Jesus Christ, and it looks like they've reproduced that in you, which I'm happy to share that with you if you'd like. You are in one of the most dangerous places to be in possible with that group. And I'm not mad at you. I'm happy to patiently teach you what the gospel is and how the love of God will transform a person, and they won't even want to transgress God's commandments. But your group has completely misunderstood what the law is, the function of the law, and what man's response to the law should be. The law doesn't say try your best. The law says if you miss one, you're condemned. The law was added for the transgression to increase, not for righteousness to increase. The law was given that we would have what's called the knowledge of sin, because by the law is the knowledge of sin. In other words, if I tell you that you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and you shall love the Lord and your neighbor as yourself, which is the law and the prophets, if you're proud and arrogant, you'll say, okay, I can do that. If you're humble, you'll say, Lord, save me, because obviously I can't do that. You've never loved the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Neither have I, neither has anyone except for Jesus or Yeshua. That's right, which means God saves, not that God didn't give you an ability to get saved, God saves you. You were drowning. He didn't throw you a book, How to Swim for Dummies. He saved you. He's a lifeguard.
Yes,
You
sir.
needed salvation. You needed a new heart.
So
Now the letter kills, and the Spirit gives life. You cannot mix the covenants. God found fault in the old covenant, the Mosaic law. The servant doesn't dwell in the house forever. The son abides forever. If you really understood Moses and followed Moses, you would not be at Mount Sinai anymore. You would be at Mount Zion, because you would understand the difference between the covenants. It is by grace you are saved, my friend. You cannot boast in your own works, and you cannot keep the commandments. The strength of sin is the law, and the power of the gospel is to transform a heart from the inside. Now listen.
So in Matthew 19, when the young rich man came to the Messiah and he said, "What must I do that I may return to life?" The Messiah responded and said, "Keep the 10 Commandments." So why did he say
hold on. So, and I can quote it from heart, the whole story on all three accounts, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And again, when I asked you how long you've been with Jesus, I'm not trying to be mean, but here's one of the very strange fruits that come from the straight as the gate people. They send people that are baby Christians, that are toddlers, 1 or 2 or 3 years old. They send them to ministers who have been walking and ministering the word for a decade to correct the ministers, and they don't even know the Bible. And I'm not mad, I'm not trying to be proud, but I can run circles around you in the Bible by the grace of God. And I can also run circles around your leaders. They don't know the scriptures, they're ignorant of the scriptures, they don't know how to present the gospel message. And again, they send 2-year-olds to go and start debates on TikTok with people that have been ministering the word for decades. I'm not saying this in a point of pride, I'm saying, could it be that you guys don't understand what's happening? We can patiently teach you.
I thought the Bible said, like in the Song of Solomon, it doesn't matter about the gray hairs on your head. Like, it doesn't matter how young you are. And it says in
the Bible also says
let no man despise your youth. So and it says that God's going to use the foolish things of this world to confound those who think themselves to be wise. So he's gonna bring these nobodies that only been knowing the truth for a little bit, right? But they've been pricked in their past. But say even if they're following for a couple of years, right? They're gonna confound those who think themselves to be wise, like those pastors that have been doing it for 30 years and stuff.
Those are true scriptures, my brother. Those are true scriptures. But you have to also balance those scriptures, right? Understand those with, don't let a novice be an elder, because they'll fall into the same temptation as Satan. Don't rebuke an elder, but encourage him as a father. You have to, scriptures always harmonize. You don't put someone who's a novice in a position of a leader, and you don't rebuke an elder. You encourage them as a father. So again, I'm with you. Out of the mouth of babes, he uses the foolish things. All of those verses are talking literally about the gospel and how the wise scribes of the age, the scribes and the Pharisees who were teachers of the law, who didn't understand and they missed Jesus. The rich young ruler shows up in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. In Luke's account, Jesus just spoke a parable in Luke 18 about a tax collector and a sinner, a Pharisee and a tax collector. And then immediately after, he meets both people. He meets the rich young ruler, which is a Pharisee, and then he meets a tax collector, which is Zacchaeus in Luke 19. He tells the parable first. You guys seem to miss the point of the parable. The rich young ruler was boasting in the law. He was boasting in the commandments. God opposes the proud. He gives grace to the humble. He didn't give the law to Zacchaeus. You should ask the question, why didn't Jesus give the law?
The rich young ruler, like he actually was lying to the Messiah the whole time.
Yes, the rich young ruler was idolizing money, obviously. He had a false god. And the law always says this one thing you lack. See, if you tell me I'm under the law, let me ask you, do you keep the Sabbath holy?
Yeah, of course. That's God's work between him and his people.
Of course. You see, it's the same rich young ruler spirit. It's pride. Instead of being humble and saying, no, of course I can't keep the Sabbath holy. Only God can. Instead of having humility, you went into your pride. You think you've really kept the Sabbath holy. You think you've never done work on the Sabbath.
Yeah, like in Hebrews chapter 4, verse 3 to 10, it says that there still remaineth a 7-day Sabbath that's supposed to be kept between God's people, which is a Saturday Sabbath from Saturday.
So the Sabbath rest, but yes. Yeah. And again, and what does it say? And keep reading Hebrews, right? Those who believe do enter that rest, and those who have entered that rest cease from their own works.
Yeah. What
Jesus
is
is our
believing?
Sabbath. We believe and we cease from our own
Yeah.
works.
Believing is doing everything that he told you to do. Every single person that he told you to listen to. Then after you got to see what Moses said about him. Because in John 5:46-47 says, if you have not believed Moses and what he wrote of me, what he said about me, how can you believe my words? Then you have to go see what he said. Then you have to go see what who he talked about. And you have to go read that, and then you got to see who that person talked about. It's like you have to believe in all the disciples and every single one. But my question is, what is loving thy neighbor as thyself? Like what
This
is
is love. I'll answer you, but please listen. Don't just be here to prove something. Have a humble heart, okay? This is love, not that we loved God, but that He loved us. I'm just quoting scripture. We love because He first loved us. The new commandment is that we love one another even as He has loved us. These are the commandments that God has for us that are not burdensome, not like the law of Moses, which is burdensome, that nobody could carry. Acts 15, the Jerusalem Council, Peter said it very clearly. No one could carry the law. It was a burden that none of us could carry. No, the commandments that we have are to believe on Jesus Christ and to love one another as He's given us commandment. How did He give us commandment? A new commandment I give to you. He didn't quote Deuteronomy. A new commandment. And here's the thing. You guys don't seem to understand. I'm going to patiently teach you, but you've got to listen. There's a difference between love your neighbor as yourself and love God with all your heart. There's a difference between that and the new commandment, which is love one another as I have loved you. And let me explain the difference very patiently and very calmly. You can sense the fruit of the Spirit from this side of the broadcast. I'm not angry at you. I'm not getting vulgar. Your people, the straight as the gay people, when I have them on, guess what they do? They swear, they rage quit. They have so much hate in their heart for other people. They don't have the fruit of the Spirit. Now, you've been very patient. I really appreciate that. I'm hoping we can pluck you out of that deception. Because those people are having you look to your own actions. But my friend, my beloved brother, only Jesus Christ is worthy of it all. Only Christ can save.
I got a question.
Only Jesus can save. So let me explain the difference between the covenants.
I want to say this real quick. So, is loving your neighbor as yourself? Is loving your neighbor as yourself rebuking sin?
Can I answer by finishing my first thought first, and then I'll answer that?
No, I just want to hear this one first. Is loving your
But
neighbor as yourself
Are you
rebuking
here
sin?
to rebuke sin? As I came on to encourage and love people, what was sinful about that?
No, I'm asking a simple question. Is
I know. I'm answering with a question. This is what your tribe does. They come onto a Christian broadcast that's preaching the gospel, and then they say they're rebuking us for sin. What are we doing? What in your knowledge is sin? What is the sin that I committed today that you're rebuking me for? Was it coming on to encourage people to put their trust in Jesus Christ? Was that the sin? What is the sin? What is the sin that you're rebuking me for? Please.
I can name countless.
Okay. And do you think I can't do that in your life?
Can't do what?
Do you think that you are walking without any sin and no mistakes? You think that if the law came to judge you, you'd have a perfect, accurate, you think you'd be perfect according to law?
If God came to judge me right now?
Yeah, your performance is perfect.
Yeah, I'll be chilling. But that's based off.
You'll be chilling. How many orphans did you help today? How many widows did you visit?
Maybe about 30.
You hypocrite. You hypocrite.
About
You
30.
whitewashed him. You bear no fruit of God, and you put yourself in a position.
Is loving your neighbor as yourself rebuking sin? Yes or no?
Loving your neighbor as yourself is the law, and we are no longer under the law.
You're trying to correct us, but you can't answer simple yes or no question.
No,
No?
it's a longer answer.
You
It's
just
a longer
said
answer.
no.
No was a part of a sentence, and this is what you're here to try to catch me, just like the Pharisees tried to catch Jesus.
You just said no.
He didn't fall into their traps. This is how I would answer that. I correct sin, which is anything not of faith is sin, right? I correct sin in people's lives where I have an actual relationship with them, where if you just go on the street and correct people for sin, it's just not going to work. Even if you think you're loving, What we're called to do is preach the gospel, which is not a revelation. Listen. We're called to preach the gospel, which is not a revelation of man's sin. It's a revelation of God's righteousness, specifically his gift of righteousness. This is what a minister is called to do. Preach the gospel, not to point out sin, but to point people to him, the author and finisher of faith. You are on a sin mission. I'm on a Jesus mission. One of those is wise, one of those is foolish. The problem is you're a hypocrite. As you're pointing out sin in others, you don't realize there's a log in your own eye. And you're not actually telling people good news about a Savior that saves them from their sin. You're not actually doing what God told you to do. You're not making disciples.
You're saying all this, but you don't even know loving thy neighbor as thyself. So, because I asked you, what is loving thy neighbor as thyself? Is it rebuking sin? You said no.
No. You're just trying to twist my words. I was saying no as a part of a sentence. It was just a way of speaking.
Is it yes or no?
Loving your neighbor as yourself is laying down your life for them. That's what it is. There's no greater love than this than for you to lay down your life for your brother.
Is that including rebuking sin?
I mean, what did Jesus do on the cross? Did he rebuke sin? That's the greatest act of love. What did he do? Did he rebuke sin on the cross? You tell me, genius. What did he do? What did he do, genius?
If you rebuke sin on the cross.
What did he do? What did he do on the cross?
Yeah.
What did he do on the cross? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, bright one.
Yeah, I'm trying to answer, but you're just yapping. He took away the sacrificial law. He paid the way for the Gentiles to be grafted in.
Did he rebuke sin? You want me to make it clear for you? Come on. What did he say? What did he say?
What do you
What did he say?
What the fuck are you talking
about? Do you know his word? Father, forgive them.
He said,
for they know not what they do.
Yeah, he said many things on the cross. So.
Go ahead. What else did he say on the cross?
He said many things on the cross.
What else did he say?
He was talking. He's talking to the young rich man. I mean, not the young rich man. You see the other one that.
Look! You just misspoke. You just sinned. You sinner. You sinner. You just lied about Jesus. He didn't talk to the young rich man on the cross.
Yeah, it was.
You see, if I apply the law to you, I'll grind you to a powder. You hypocrite. You're a hypocrite.
Instantly.
You're a whitewashed tomb filled with dead men's
the one on the right side.
There's no love.
Fuck idiot, man. The right side.
There's no love of God in these people. It's crazy. Yeah, it is a little bit of wasting time with them.